Yes. So it's slow going on the Robotech front. So I did some of the music, but of course we have to actually have footage to do musical scores to, because it inspires it. You can't just do music with the titles. There's a trailer. Well, not a trailer, but credits. But now we're going to go on to something else that's interesting. I have looked up the story of Raksha, the one of the characters prevalent in Alt Transformers Mush, and in our fan film from 2020, 2021, 2022. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, apparently we were kind of following the fandom from back in the day when we did that. There was a character named her real name may be Giovanna Kink, which is the last name's probably fake. Raksha, Giovanna Kink, and she was a BotCon influencer. I guess you call her an influencer nowadays. The kids would call her an influencer. She had a pet snake, and she didn't like Beast Wars, and it was brand new back then. And it was the 90s, and she was one of the instigators of the character and the mother of the character known as NightRacer. So, yeah, that's interesting. Now, Raksha was spelled two different ways in Transtech, because actually, in Alt Transformers Mush, because we screwed up and spelled it a different way. And later on in Season 2, we established that there was an episode where her twin shows up with the name spelled differently. It says, oh, by the way, the one with the name spelled differently was the other girl, and there were two of me the whole time. Which is something she probably would have totally gone for back then. I've never met this person. I met people like that person, but I've never met this person. She also inspired the later people that did stuff like Windblade and Slipstream. So it isn't like, yeah, even though she was certifiable. She also kind of inspired Shattered Glass, which was the BotCon. I've never been to a BotCon, but she inspired Shattered Glass, which is where the Decepticons and Autobots reversed personality to an extent, kind of Earthspark as well, which came much, much later. And the fandom was asking, up until 2020 or so, where is Raksha? Partly because of a little-known resurgence of Alt Transformers Mush out there that people were watching, and they were like, there's suddenly this new interest in Alt Transformers Mush. So fan guy has done Alt Transformers Mush stories based on some of Raksha's stories. You should check them out, and because they're interesting. With his toys, and some people got it right, some got it wrong. Yeah, there was a discussion board thing on. Wait a minute, if she's the mother of the other one, how is she the daughter of the other one? Makes sense. Well, They explain that in Series 3, though, in Lexicons. It's actually kind of explained there in that one. So, well, you figured the Decepticon Matrix, if there's such a thing, the Matrix Murta, or the Decepticon Matrix, probably works in a similar way to the Autobot Matrix, in that other characters are given similar names over the years, say, in the Transformers mythos. So even the basics of Transformers that went over NightRacer, they did that. They referenced ours. So, cool. Yeah, but we didn't know Raksha, though, at all. So, yeah. But it is interesting it's now 2023. And even though I don't have a lot of subscribers on the channel, I have a lot of views. 40,000 views, 1,000 videos, more than 1,000 videos, and people have watched my Transformers fan films, and they're commenting on the boards on them. Alt Transformers Mush guy, Transformers Mush Usenet stuff. Yeah, this is this old Usenet stuff guy. He's put up like their fanfics. He toned them down though for YouTube. He put them up on YouTube. It's weird. I'm just like okay, yeah. But that's still cool because you get to see them, see what they were thinking of. Yeah, and yeah, I learned some more about this character, Giovanni Kink, who apparently would go around the BotCons conventions doing weird stuff. Of course, I'm not gonna say the weird stuff. You can look it up, because probably it's all made up. I would say the only stuff that's accurate is that she liked the Decepticons, and she thought they were the oppressed minority, and the Autobots were actually oppressing them, which is bizarre. But sure, that's not what was going on. Maybe in Shattered Glass it was. On that. IDW picked up on some elements of it later on, as well as some of the other magazines. Alt Transformers Mush totally picked up on it. The character of Raksha, born in the story, is she grows up in the story, and then she's an assassin later on and all that. She's the daughter of NightRacer in the story. But presumably she is, and it works because of the Decepticon Matrix, and also it works because she's named after her creator. So, yeah, so she is the Raksha and her twin sister, Raksha, in the story. Or twin brother / twin sister, who becomes the other one. They're the grandchildren of the original Raksha, who's NightRacer's mother, so it works. They're the grandchildren of her, so it works. They're not the original; they're grandchildren. There you go. so NightRacer gave birth to these two that were twins. Yeah, assassins. That's how they could be in two places at once. There were two. Draconis Prime only mentions one, but there were actually two. Yeah, the whole time. So, and it makes sense. It's like, oh, that's how the other one could be there. Yeah, there were two. And actually, that was a happy accident because we've forgotten the name problems in nomenclature in the credits. But when the evil Dracotron Scythe of Destiny guy got a hold of them and tried to use their powers, essentially violating them, he created 4 new Decepticons of the Apocalypse. And then the 4 new Decepticons of the Apocalypse turned on each other, leaving but one alive. The one that was alive was the great-great-grandchild of the original. And she was she had a funny name too, and Kali. She was Kali. Kali, the goddess of death. She killed the other 3. Well, basically what happened is she let 2 of them kill each other, and then the third one was shocked. She went and shafted the third one. Killed all 3 of them. And then Scythe of Destiny guy was like, I can't believe it. I sent you to 3 to destroy each other. To destroy the Autobots, and you destroyed each other. But yes, that's hilarious. So that's great. It was something she would have done. Definitely. I think she's still around, at least until 2015 or so. So it was probably vaguely part of Lexicons, which was 2015. And we couldn't use any Lexicons modern stuff because after 2005, 2006, it was a little bit, the universe changed and there was very little G1 stuff because the newer stuff was around. There's lots of stuff out there. So. However, with the Robotech meets the Transformers, we can use some stuff that's 2008, which is some of the stuff from Aaron's and some of the other stuff. To use that in there. But toned down for YouTube. We cannot, so some of it will appear in what amounts to Season 4 of Alt Transformers Mush, which is the Robotech one. It is Lexicon Season 2, essentially. But it's Robotech. So yeah, Raksha is the mother of NightRacer and the grandmother of Raksha, the two other characters. So that's how that works. So it's not so much, oh, let's go on Draconis Prime and talk about how he's like, looks like, sort of like scattershot crossed with the Lita 1 originally. And, yeah. And how he's Lexius of Lexicons, wink. Yeah, so he was Lexius originally. And, but that's a different guy. He was a male. But yeah, the Transformer gender thing was also mentioned. Yeah, so they were fond of the some of them came back, some of them commented. The ones that had big stories out there commented. The ones that had smaller ones, not so much. There was one guy that one commenter, like, they took the comments off of YouTube as of 2021 or so. 2020, 2021, they took all of the comments off of the stream, the Google stream, Google thing. They got rid of Google Plus, so that kind of ended that. So we didn't get any comments after that, but very few. And so, yeah, that ended. And so we were just doing our own thing. Yeah, during the pandemic, we made sure that we were everyone's safe and stuff and checked out. And we did the during lockdown. We'd do the episodes upstairs. I would film all the scenes for all the episodes, do the voice acting for all the episodes, and then every Thursday we'd have not a Zoom call, but a call, Mark's Cards production, and he would go over the particulars of what we'd shot, and then we'd just keep going from there. There was very little oversight, but we took all the precautions during that. And yeah, so we were able to complete 17 episodes in season 1, 7 of those of which were a miniseries special, similar to those old G.I. Joe and Transformers back in the day, called The Corrosion War Without End, based on the Rob Power story, and that's where Draconis Prime actually is. And then from there, several key episodes of the Alt Transformers Mush Usenet thing, including one of Rhakshi's stories and Rhakshi's characters appear in there. Also, we have Jazzy stories in there, and Bone Lean stories, and a bunch of other people. Rob Jung, Rob Degmuth, a bunch of others. There was one guy objected to using, I think it was in season 2. I mentioned in a commentary that we're going to use this guy's story. And they're all, that guy was a total jerk. Oh, don't use that guy. Oh, he's a jerk. It was like, yeah, but the story was good. I didn't care that, he's going to be a chapter in one episode. It wasn't even the whole episode. It was like a chapter, one act. Had his story about the rolling Autobot guys going out and stuff. But there's this guy who was jerk. I'm not going to name his name. But some other guy, and yeah, and we used it anyway. It's not the death of the author. The story was good. We used it. We didn't pay anybody. We couldn't pay him either, so we weren't paying him. Then we have this other guy objected to this one guy's dead, Davidson or something. This guy's dead. This guy's dead. We can use this story. Yeah, we can. We can use it. Yeah, it was a good story about Decepticons and stuff, so we used it. So we used that one. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. Yeah, ultimately an awesome experience with fan films. And we have a live channel thing for Brown Videos, which will show the Transformers episodes too, and rerun. And I was watching it was a Lexicons episode, or 2 of them. They just popped up in the feed, and I watched them on the big TV screen, high def. It was awesome. Yeah, so I succeeded in doing a Transformers fanfic show adaptation of 30-year-old Transformers fanfic stories that never would have seen the light of day in Hasbro. and I put them up on the screen so people can watch them on YouTube for free, see them. Like an hour-long Transformers special about Invasion of Cybertron or something, or an hour-long one about Starscream trying to take over the Wrath planet, thinking he's taking over the Decepticons, or an hour-long, a 7-hour miniseries of this crazy Autobot renegade group called the Carta, basically. It was a Carta, basically. But it was also these other guys. It was the corrosion guys, and the corrosion guys are heading off back to Cybertron. And the whole story is their journey back to Cybertron to go visit the Autobots. And it's like, yeah, and then this is a big epic thing. And we had Transformers figuring out what kind of genders they were, if they had gender, and how that happened. And some of them objecting to that. How could robots even have that? And I was like, and how do they can move from body to body or swap around or do different things, and they can reproduce with each other if they want to or not. Yeah, so it was very slashy, but they didn't go there. They didn't actually show it. They just implied it. Yeah, so yeah, it was the Usenet. That's just like some of them, like, so there's some of the fans that are like, oh, how do you did, wow, that's, yeah, they used one of them commented, you put the Netflix Autobots and Decepticons to good use. Made a better version of the Netflix show than the Netflix show. Even making fun of the guy who produced the Netflix show. Not realizing that it actually was him that was commenting, and no, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't know it was actually you. Sorry. But yeah, he did mess up though. You didn't get Peter Cullen to do Optimus Prime, or anybody that even remotely sounded like him. But as he explained, well, we didn't want somebody to just imitate Optimus Prime. We wanted to have somebody that was doing his own version of Optimus Prime, or not just somebody parodying it. Back in the day, Frank Welker going, well, I'm not out of a job yet, from hearing me doing his imitation. But yes. No, he's not. Right, Megatron, and yeah, the stories, making of specials that are actually more interesting than the stories itself. In some, well, they're interesting too. Maybe some of them weren't. I don't know. I just like putting a making of things and bloopers reels and stuff in there too. Put it in there. Yeah, because that's fun. I always like looking back on the making of as well and seeing how things were put together. Even some of my earlier stuff like Transtech, and I released the Transtech and Space Bridge and stuff. And then we and finally got around to, in 2022, releasing the remainder of the my original stuff from the 80s. Yeah, we had put up, I think in late 2021, we put up commentary track one of the first, the Carta and the Transformers, Trans and Trans 2, Trans, and then the other one, the commentary only. We had to strip out the audio because there was music in the background. So I just went over the audio and said what was going on, tried to explain the story as I was going. So it's sort of a making of. You won't ever see the originals, but you get to see the redubbed over the original stuff from the 80s. We were literally doing fan films. Somebody commented on that as well, because they commented on Trans 2 and Carta when they came out on the comments there. Somebody commented, the granddaddy of all of the Transformer fanfics, because yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so nobody did one that early that we can find on YouTube. That this is from 1990, or this is from 94, or you even did one from 86. The show was still on the air. It was like, yeah, and then they posted it on YouTube. Yeah, so 86. The show was still on. And then the 90s ones, Trans 2. What's weird is the Till All Are One, which is also Usenet, also did a version of Till All Are One, and we did two versions of that. Other people did a Till All Are One because that's a title, a catchphrase. There was one in season 2 of our Mush thing, and there was one in Lexicons as well near the end of that Lexicons. So there's 2 in there. So we have season 2 and season 3. We did some version of Till 1 again and again, and of course we had to have the original Till 1, the 1990 Till 1. That was during the crash of the robot craze. Generation 2 wasn't there yet. These Force wasn't there yet. Generation 2 ended up being copies of the same kind of thing, which I discussed when they did the Carter 2 story in 1994. And I did the commentary on that and posted it up. And so I'm going on about the other stuff too, because why not? Because I didn't have much on the other one. But we did it first. We did it first before the Usenet and everything. And someone else confirmed not only the existence of Timinus and Adamacon and Jimticon, but other Jimticons and Timinuses and Adamacons out there. So there are other ones other than just me. They were out there, and they have different numbers. But yes, so I was there too. I was there as Kal Kat as well. But yes, back in the day. So some of them were excited about that card remake. The Transtech 1 and 2 remakes and stuff. Recently, the TJ Omega website referenced Transtech. They got Transtech and stuff like that. Posted in the comments, if you want to see my version of Transtech, it's on this channel, go see it for free. And I took the concept and ran with it. And I made my own fan film called Transtech. There's 2 versions. You can see the series version of 24 episodes, or you can sit through the whole mini-series, 3 hours here, 3 hours here, 3 hours here, if you want. Probably the episodes are probably easier to swallow. They're half an hour each. Easier to swallow. But if you want to go for a whole 3 hours, go for it. But yeah, we did Transtech. But we called ours Transformers meets Robotech. Next one's Robotech meets the Transformers. We'll make cowpoke. Because it is. It's Robotech meets the Transformers. It's the Sentinels, but our version. And we used Alt Transformers Mush Lexicons stories to fill it in. To fill in the gaps. Some very awesome ones. There'll be a couple of... I'm guessing those will be another set of 3 hour miniseries. Which we won't separate into 24 episodes. We'll just keep them together. Mark Cars is excited that the Robotech has finally let up on... Harmony Gold finally let up on the copyrights. Get Macross 7. Finally. Not sure if he's going to want it, but at least they let up on the copyrights. I have Macross 7. I can't copy it anymore. I don't have that software anymore. It's long gone. But yeah, we're not doing anything really like... Pirated Productions is not pirating anything, incidentally. It's a joke. Yeah, we don't do that. No. Yeah, so... Yeah, NightRacer's creator. There have been other NightRacers, as they mentioned on the Basics of Transformers NightRacer. There have been other ones. There have been there was the BotCon exclusive, but then you could say the Transformers Prime Blue Bumblebee, or the Robots in Disguise 2001. The car guy is kind of her. Yeah, the Sideburn is kind of her. Yeah, so I could say he is. In a way, Transformers Prime Bumblebee, the blue one, the blue transformed into the other version, the Night Strike. Also, I consider the Michael Bay, I believe, Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, Night Bumblebee. That's dark with a black also is him too, is her too as well. And also the red Cliffjumper Bumblebee from that series is basically a version of Windblade. prior to so I kind of did that too. So I tied it all in, made it all in a neat little bow. It all seems to work. My fan films away, granddaddy of man films. My goodness, this was stuff from '86. Ew. And apparently, I was saying about Till All Are One, it's the most popular one. They just love this Till All Are One story with the wrestling. I thought it was the dumbest and silliest one of all of them. I was like, oh, this idea is bad. No, it's not fun. It was during the WWF thing. It was like, oh, let's not do this. Like, it's just such a bad idea. The Autobots do the thing with the wrestling. That's the one they all like. It's Till All Are One from 1990. That's the one we like. We want to go back to that one. And Carter 2, The Return, which is epic, but yes. I'm gonna burn Transformers. And of course, the actual Trans 2, when season Generation started. Yeah, Generation 2 started. Yeah, that too as well. So we did cut down some of that a little bit in that there was footage of Danny when he was a little kid in the background, and we kind of clipped out wherever it showed him, just to make sure that there was no, because Capra is probably going to complain. Oh, there's a kid in this. I did mention in the commentary though that he's now 37, so it's probably okay. He's 37 years old. I don't think he's going to care. He's just like, But yes, but like the other, he stuck onto the set during the Star Trek Chimera with the Q scene and Continuum scene and the Space Bridge 2015 when they had they have Adamacon and like have it filmed at Mission College. That'll be funny. Okay. Well, it kind of was anyway because Simultech was that building next to Mission College. So, yeah, it was one of the Great America Parkway buildings. It's Simultech. But yeah, the Space Bridge. Yeah, so Raksha was apparently this crazy lady that had a snake, pet snake, who was very, very nuts in the story. And the Usenet people currently could not find her. She's probably still around. She probably just doesn't do that anymore. You know, it's funny that one of the creators of the one of the best stories in the first season of Alt Transformers Mush, the one about the Springer and RC and all that, had gone on. I think it was that one. Yeah, Transitions. I think that was the one. Not only commented, but had like a commentary on the fan film, saying like, yeah, I like the PSA part of that, and I like that that as she's a counselor now, and she's all like, yeah, I really liked that because that's right up my alley and everything. I like that. She was married, and she doesn't really think about the fan films anymore. And it's funny that you adapted this as a screenplay and actually got the voices and stuff right. The Batman Springer is funny, but yes, never would have thought of that. But I had to make his voice sound like Batman or something, because kind of the low Hot Rod voice sounds like Hot Rod. No, Hot Rod, it's too similar. So I was like, okay, but I'm sound like Batman. Oh, Batman. Because then it's like sort of Batman Clint Eastwood. Because then he doesn't sound like Hot Rod. And then one or two of the other rejected commentaries on the Google thing and whatever. Because the Google Gmail still works, and they were to come to Gmail to the other channel, commenting on the thing, going, "Oh, how dare you kill Springer off in season 2? Oh no!" So we had a commentary and the commentary thing. Oh, you do realize we're going to bring it back, right? Of course we are. Just wait. We're going to bring it back. We have something in mind, and we did. We had something in mind. We were already looking at the Lexicon seasons. Well into season 2, and we knew what we were going to do with Springer, and we knew about the prison episode, and we knew about Bludgeon, and we were going to bring Bludgeon and the Wreckers and them in there, and of course Springer was going to get resurrected, and we did it very ironically and twisted by having Galvatron put him back together because he wanted to make him a slave, which is very much like Trans 2. Did something similar in that one with the Brainstorm being a slave. So she totally did it. Because the headmasters could be manipulated. So Springer was recreated, but the creation matrix helped him. It restored him. They had that there. Of course, was it just the way the prison planet trapped him? He didn't really. It wasn't really the creation matrix. He was just thinking it was. It's kind of like Wrath, a little bit. So he just thought it was. It was the Matryoshka brain that was running the prison planet. It was tricking him, but he was alive. He's back, and all of season 3 was actually a slightly other version of the multiverse anyway, as you discover in the finale. You're like, oh. And you're like, oh, we were actually watching the entire time. Yeah, you guys did a better version of the Lost ending than the Lost ending. Well, okay, right, okay, yeah, okay. Sideways Universal. Shoot, well, space bridges and time gates and all that. Wow, that's what we were doing. Yeah, so in that way, we weren't messing with the entire main Transformers timeline. We were messing directly in season 3 with the Netflix time. We were messing directly with them. We're like, at the end, they're all, the Netflix guys show up to help them. It's like, no, actually, you're helping them. It's the other way around. You're the Netflix guy. You didn't realize it, but you were. And now, you've destroyed each other. Horrible ways. Yes. Alt Transformers Mush. Yeah, so it was the reverse. It was fun doing all that. Shaking back and forth. So it wasn't an incident at Alpha Bridge, it was a Cyber universe. Yeah. Where the Natterick Gate was on the other side and they were trying to get to the space plate which was leaking through to the other side. And that's why everybody was slightly different. Selects kind of thing going on. But no Rhakshi. And Rhakshi did show up at the end though, didn't she? Yeah, she did show up at the end. And she had tied him back into Rhakshi. And she shows up and helps them to go through because she's like on the side of the other renegades, which is consistent with the grandmother from earlier. Yeah. And also there was a little bit of reflection with that other story about the penumbra and the and primary who was it was also an interesting character in the story. Primary was played by an Inferno character. However, she was the ancestor in her earliest form of the Decepticons. She was the Decepticon godmother, basically. But her repaired form that Galvatron costs and kills and then revives. The Autobots revive. Her other form is a descendant with a similar spark. It's not really her, she's a descendant through the spark. Orion Pax to Prime kind of deal. Kind of worked. Also, does mirror, and on purpose, does mirror Raksha as well. Same idea. It's Raksha. She could have been called Rhakshi too, but it would have been confusing. So we didn't do that. So that would have been confusing. So no, she's that, and then she's the next one. So everything works. It's poetry. It rhymes like Lucas. So, yeah. That is that, I guess. Yeah, primary being Ultra Magnus's. Well, the current version of primary being Ultra Magnus's ex-wife was also funny. That puts another spin on the backstory. Another Lexicons idea. Yeah, it is like a soap opera, as Mark Hart says, like a space soap opera. but it's a fun one. Yeah, because you can't really do a lot of space battles and stuff because, yeah, they're plastic toys. You want to actually blow them up. So let's have them have, like, adventures where they have to figure things out and get away and occasionally shoot each other. So that's just... yeah, I thought I would do an update on Alt Transformers Mush, just so you guys get the idea that, oh, we're not completely gone from doing all. I don't know. We were doing some of the music for the Robotech, and I wanted to catch you up on something that was interesting in regards to the snake charming lady that was kind of nuts. That was the basis for Raksha, and also Primary, apparently. This other person, when he thought of Primary, was probably thinking of Raksha as well, and that's perfectly fine. It makes sense. I would think, though, that it wouldn't. In that case, Primary would be more Susan Blue, because that makes more sense. Just because Susan Blue is RC and played a bunch of other stuff on the show, that she's sort of a descendant of the other character. Thus, there's a scene where Springer, the alternate Springer in RC is dying or something, and there's like a backstory about that. RC's more of a half bug, half girl on that one. She's dying. She dies, he euthanizes her, it's not messed up. Then you realize at that point, okay, they must be in the Netflix universe. It's like, oh, yeah, if you just been paying attention. Oh, they're in the Netflix universe the whole time. Yeah, okay. Okay. Bludgeon. And breaking out the Bludgeon figure was fun because that was the Michael Bay Bludgeon figure. And that's the only one we had. And there were others on the internet. We're trying to find a Bludgeon figure out there, like if we wanted him to be in the story, and isn't that one Springer's nemesis? He's the catalyst of the whole thing. I don't think we brought him back, did you? We just had him in that one. Great voice actor we had in that one. It was cool. 2022 we did that thing. Was a special. Yeah, that was cool. And he's all like, and we're all like, why don't you just pull down the Michael Bay one that you have, the tank one, and just use him. Open him up and use him. And we looked at the price, and they said online it was $100 or something, or whatever, to get another one. And decided, you know what, it probably costs too much to get another one, just like it. So let's just open the toy and play with him. Because, yeah. So we did. It's interesting that the Raksha action figure is like a snake, not a bird. We made her a bird. We made her a Mind Wipe. If you want to find the Mind Wipe character we used, it was a Michael Bay Dark of the Moon Mind Wipe, similar to the Bludgeon one. That's what that was. It was a Mind Wipe. Also, the Beast Wars Pteranodon lady, who's a transgendered, is a Pteranodon, I believe, is her name, or something like that. Yeah, I'll find out. I gotta get another one of that one. I also have to get another one to replace Transmetal Pterosaur, who broke during filming. His arm came off. He's basically dead. We had to write it into the story that he died. But yeah, a little Pteranodon guy. So yeah, I think the funniest commentary on the TJ Omega, the TJ Omega guy was a young dude. He's like in his 20s probably. He was going on about somebody that had on eBay had snatched up all the Skyfires and stuff, and he kept buying all the Jetfires in the 90s and early 2000s. So he just would snatch them up one after the other, Jetfire. Whatever condition they were in, a broken up Jetfire, they'd be gone. Parts Jetfire, gone. Yeah. This the Transcar guy just kept doing that. Was all, oh yeah, sorry about that. You still have those? Yeah. Most of them. I had about 50 of those guys. Got off eBay back in the day during the crazy times, the times when we had more money, and I got about 50 of them, and I reassembled them into workable, working Jetfire toys. About 25 of them, so about half of them were rebuilt into the Robotechs. And they're still around, and the Renegades. They're still a mess, though. And someone else had commented later, I can't believe you painted those. Oh, I was like, why not? They're mine. I don't know. Besides, the ones that I really painted were the ones that were really, really banged up. They would have been terrible. You can kind of tell, because when you see them in Space Bridge and in Alt Transformers Mush, they pop up at the end in the two-parter, Shared Hallucinations. They're pretty banged up. They're really not going to do anything. They just stand there in robot mode, or stand there in Gerlock mode, or in plane mode, and don't move. Because if they did, something would inevitably break off and just be lying there on the ground. I'm not sure how we're going to do that part in the Robotech movie, because they're really fragile. Yeah, even though they've been in a box, and put blankets around them and everything for years, 20 years. Yeah, only exposed to the air once or twice to be in their movies, but they're still, yeah, brittle. But yes, that is my thing. Raksha. I don't know her. I don't know Raksha. I don't know if her last name is really Kink. Probably not. It's probably Clink, but they're being cute. Yeah, I don't know of her. I didn't go to BotCon 94. In 1994, I was making Carta 2 The Return. Yes, yeah. Did any of my stuff air on TV? No, it didn't. Did not. My contributions to latter seasons of Beast Wars and Beast Machines were because there were Usenets and there were connections to the Usenets and pictures and things like that. Were mainly, yeah, some designs for Transmetal Dinobot, designs for that were later somebody else got the design. It wasn't quite it. Can't say it wasn't quite it. And Beast Machines. They were gonna do Beast Machines, and Jim Ticon pops in there and goes like, "Make the Decepticons win! Ah, because I want them to win! Ah." So I said, "Oh, that's not gonna work. They're gonna make the Decepticons win. No one's gonna want to watch it." They made the Decepticons win. So yeah. Why did they go there? For a while they won. But I was not involved in the production in any way. They just thought that this fan's idea was cool. So yeah, about that. And they were probably thinking also of Raksha. So maybe Jim Ticon should have met Raksha at the convention and hang out. They didn't, but they never went to BotCon. We never did. Went to some others though. We went to the May 2nd Robotech one. 90s Robotech one. That's some crappy videos from how many old people. But yeah, went to that one. The early version of the Sentinels. Stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah. Hope you'll enjoy tonight's episode rambling on about the Transformers. On St. Patrick's Day. Oi! It's good here, St. Patty's Day it is now. Oh, it was actually wearing green. There's green in this. There's a bit of green in this. Oh,